Every camera tells a story, not just through the images it captures, but through what it represents for its maker. For Nikon, the Z9 II and Z6 IV are more than just two upcoming mirrorless bodies. They're two chapters in a brand's ongoing transformation. One is the Kingpin, the high-performance flagship designed to make headlines and challenge the industry's limits. The other is the Workhorse, the versatile middleweight meant to serve professionals and creators who need power, practicality, and value in equal measure. But as rumors and spec sheets revolve around Nikon Z9 II and Z6 IV, a question keeps surfacing. Which one will truly define Nikon's next era? At first glance, both cameras share Nikon's unmistakable design DNA. Purposeful, sturdy, and built to endure abuse from both weather and professionals. But their differences tell the story of two very different missions. The Z9 II, following its legendary predecessor, is expected to keep the integrated grip design, a hallmark of professional sports and wildlife cameras. It's the kind of camera that feels like it belongs courtside or in the wilderness, built for those who shoot 12-hour days without compromise. The integrated vertical grip, extended battery life, and rugged magnesium alloy body all scream endurance. Yet Nikon's rumored tweaks, lighter weight, improved ergonomics, and refined contours, show a company aware that even professionals crave agility. Expect a design evolution, not revolution. The Z6 IV, in contrast, will carry the spirit of accessibility. It's smaller, lighter, and far more approachable for hybrid shooters who might move between handheld photography and run-and-gun filmmaking. Nikon will likely preserve its classic mid-tier shape, compact but premium, robust yet travel-friendly. However, all signs point toward a fully articulating touchscreen, something Nikon has leaned into as more creators demand flexibility for vlogging, self-recording, and dynamic shooting angles. If the Z9 II is the tank, the Z6 IV is the sports car. Both are performance-built, but one will dominate through endurance while the other will win through versatility. Nikon seems to understand that professional needs have splintered. Some want the brawny reliability of a flagship, others the agile intelligence of a hybrid. This is where things get loud, because both cameras promise serious horsepower. The Nikon Z9 II is expected to build on the original's already mind-bending capabilities. With a next-generation stacked sensor and a re-engineered X-Speed processing system, possibly even dual processors, Nikon is clearly targeting blistering speed. We're talking continuous bursts potentially over 30 frames per second RAW with full autofocus and tracking, meaning the camera could go toe-to-toe with Sony's Alpha 1 or Canon's R3 successor. And autofocus, that's where Nikon's deep learning tech will probably flex. The original Z9 already tracked eyes, animals, cars, and planes with near telepathic precision. The Z9 II is rumored to push this even further. Faster recognition, smarter subject distinction, and enhanced low-light behavior. For wildlife or sports shooters, this could be game-changing. Imagine locking focus on a bird mid-dive or a sprinter bursting off the line, without the camera missing a beat. Video performance is another battlefield. The Z9 already delivered 8K/60p RAW internally, something few thought Nikon would ever attempt. The Z9 II could push that to 8K/120p, or at least offer superior color depth and thermal efficiency. If true, this would position it dangerously close to cinema cameras, but in a compact, handheld form. Nikon seems to be leaning heavily into hybrid cinema territory, not just competing with Sony FX models, but stepping into red or Blackmagic space for indie filmmakers. On the other hand, the Z6 IV doesn't have to break records. It just has to nail balance. And that might be its greatest strength. Rumors suggest it'll either stick around the 24 to 33 megapixel range or take a bold leap to 61 megapixel, potentially doubling the resolution of its predecessor. If Nikon plays it safe with 30 megapixels, it'll retain that perfect middle ground. Enough detail for professionals, but manageable file sizes for creators. If it goes higher, the Z6 IV could become Nikon's new darling for studio, commercial, and landscape shooters. In terms of bursts, expect the Z6 IV to maintain around 14 to 20 frames per second, which, for its class, remains impressive. It won't outgun the Z9 II, but it doesn't need to. The Z6 IV is the smart speed camera, designed for those who need reliability and fluidity rather than absolute maximums. For video, Nikon is clearly doubling down. Expect 6K NRAW and 4K/120p with full sensor readout, excellent color science, and refined autofocus tracking. Perfect for YouTubers, indie creators, and event shooters who want cinema-grade footage without Z9 level bulk or cost. So yes, the Z9 II might have the raw muscle, but the Z6 IV may be the smarter performer for real-world versatility. Both cameras will likely arrive loaded, but it's how Nikon positions those features that will matter. The Z9 II as a flagship will naturally get every advanced toy Nikon can muster. Expect dual CFX Press Type B slots, extended battery life, and next-gen connectivity. Possibly even built-in 5G or faster Wi-Fi transfers for live event professionals. Nikon knows time is money for its top users, and instant cloud upload could make the Z9 II a dream for agencies and broadcasters. A massive upgrade is also expected for the EVF. A 9 million dot, 240 Hz display is on the table. Add in better thermal control, weather sealing, and AI-powered image stabilization, and the Z9 II becomes an almost self-aware machine. The Z6 IV, meanwhile, will focus on meaningful refinement rather than overkill. A new generation IBIS system, offering up to 6 stops of stabilization, would greatly improve handheld work. Nikon will probably stick to the familiar CF Express plus SDUHS2 slot combo, balancing cost with capability. Connectivity will see incremental improvements. Faster transfers, better app integration, maybe even a more intuitive in-camera interface. What makes the Z6 IV stand out, however, is its accessibility. It doesn't demand a deep-pocketed buyer or a studio setup. It gives users most of Nikon's high-end DNA in a form that fits comfortably in one hand and one bag. It's the kind of camera you carry everywhere and that matters. Price-wise, Nikon seems poised to maintain their strategic ladder. The Z9 II around $6,000, and the Z6 IV closer to $2,700, $3,000. The price gap reflects more than specs. It reflects purpose. The Z9 II is a statement. The Z6 IV is a solution. The Nikon Z9 II and Z6 IV represent two sides of the same ambition: to keep Nikon relevant and respected in a brutally competitive mirrorless world. So, which one's the bigger one? If you measure by specs, size, and sheer audacity, the Z9 II wins. But if you measure by impact, by how many hands it ends up in and how many stories it helps tell, the Z6 IV could easily steal the spotlight. In the end, Nikon doesn't need one of these cameras to destroy the competition. It needs both, one to inspire confidence at the top, and one to spread that innovation across the creative world. The flagship might wear the crown, but sometimes the camera that changes everything isn't the biggest or the boldest. It's the one that makes excellence feel within reach, and that's where the real power lies. Thanks for watching.